What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to this episode of OTA Clips, March Madness Day 3. Not in the books quite yet, obviously. Still games going on. Oklahoma State set to tip off in a few minutes. Oral Roberts will likely finish up against Florida here. Florida's up 6 at the moment. And then obviously Villanova looks like they're going to be getting a win over North Texas. Still very early, but they look to be trending in a positive direction. So obviously a crazy day 3 of March Madness, and a crazy last night too. Obviously, we filmed things. Texas hadn't played. Texas lost. That was pretty crazy. I don't know if you caught much of that game, but crazy that, Texas really didn't have it from the field. They only shot, actually they shot pretty well. I guess 35% from three really killed them, as well as their 23 turnovers, I think was the story in that one.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. So the 23 turnovers, obviously that, but we're not here to talk about Texas and their loss to Abilene Christian. We're going to start today with the biggest upset of the day. There were a few upsets on the day, but this one was huge. Illinois, the number 1 seed. A lot of people picked this team to win the tournament, arguably the second or third best team, people said, coming into the tournament. They lose to the Loyola Chicago Ramblers. It just seems like this team, once they're in the tournament, they're guaranteed to make a run, and that's what they did today. And Mac, I'll let you start, but Cam Krutwig was really the story for Loyola Chicago and their success today.
Yep, Loyola Chicago, the first team to take down a number 1 seed this year, and that was versus Illinois. As you said, Cameron Krutwig delivered his 19 points, 12 rebounds in this game. And he was really able to shut down this high-powered Illinois offense. Illinois, they fell behind by 14 points in the first half, and they really were never able to get back in range to take a lead. They committed 16 turnovers and scored 23 points, less than their season average. So this game was really something you wouldn't expect from Illinois. And as you said, one of the top teams heading into March Madness. And obviously, they fell short in this game. But for Illinois, Kofi Cockburn still had his good game with 21 points, and he shot 7 for 12, and guards Lucas Williamson with 14 points and Keith Clemens with 2 steals for Loyola, of course, were really the stars. Not for Loyola. They were the stars for Illinois on their offense, and they also had Trent Frazier, who went 1 for 10, which really showed you the story for how Illinois and the majority of their offense went at this game. They could not really do much offensively, and defensively they obviously struggled, giving up a lot of points, and they did have some miniature runs later in the game, but they never were able to get it to that 1-score game. So Loyola Chicago with a great and big upset here over the number 1 seed Illinois.
Yeah. As we speak, I was just looking. Oral Roberts only down 1 now to 7 seed Florida. I mean, if that team makes a run here, that'd be interesting. They'd be scheduled, the winner of that game, to play Arkansas. Overall, Loyola just really dominated this one. I mean, Cam Krutwig played such a phenomenal game. Like you said, you had the stats: 19 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. But just some of the plays he was making, they were running their pick and roll offense through him. He had that touch pass at one point, was really going to work on Kofi Cockburn, like we said. And, Kofi Cockburn played a great game. He had arguably his best free throw shooting game of the season. He was tested at the line today a lot. But the reason Illinois really struggled was their guard play. Their guard play was subpar. You look at, AP All-American Io Dosunumi. I always mess that name up, and that was bad. But, he only had 9 points. And this guy that's supposed to be their leading scorer, I believe he had like 5 turnovers on the day as well. It can't be happening. And like you said, Trent Frazier, 2 points. He really struggled. Curbelo was playing probably better than some of the other guards. Adam Miller had a hot hand, but they didn't really let him get open and get the shots going. So it was just a slow day for them. It was just overall not their best performance. They shot 28% from 3, and I think that's the story. They turned the ball over 17 times as well. And Loyola Chicago was just all around better. I mean, you look at all around, like you said, Lucas Williamson played a great game, one of the best of his season today. They have that frisky point guard, Braden Norris. He's always, doing it all. But, it's a good, strong team. They're on a good 8-man rotation. Such a well-coached team. We've seen that in the tournament. And, this team is hot, and I expect them to continue their success, to be honest, from now on. And we'll see what happens. I believe they're going to play the winner of Oregon State, Oklahoma State, which will be tipping off shortly. So we'll see what happens there. But Loyola Chicago, man, it's every year they're in the tournament, you always got to watch out for these guys, it seems.
Yeah, 100%. And another team that also pulled out the upset here today, and that was Syracuse over West Virginia. Syracuse obviously won 75-72, and Buddy Boeheim carried Syracuse really in the second half with 22 points out of his 25. They were all in the second half, and it really kind of turned the tables here. Some players doing better in the first half and doing nothing in the second half, but Buddy was really able to carry Syracuse and get this win. In the second half, he made all but one of his 6 3-pointers, and he really headlined this game for the Oranges. And overall, he finished 8 of 17. And in the end of the game, with 4:55 left, he made 2 straight threes to put Cuse ahead, 63-59. And that's really a turning point in this game that led Syracuse to getting this win. For West Virginia, you had players like Sean McNeil, who scored 23 points and really carried this offense. And before the half, while Boeheim struggled, Joe Garrard, how we pronounce that, scored all 12 of his points and really struggled in that second half. So for Syracuse, he had some players doing not so hot in the first half and took off in the second half. And you're seeing players who were hot in the first half and weren't in the second half. But for West Virginia, they shot poorly. They shot 37.1%, and really they had a lot of turnovers, 14 turnovers, and that was really a story, a headline for West Virginia and why they lost this game. But once they started to get themselves together later on in this game, it was too late.
Yeah, I think the shooting was for me the primary reason West Virginia lost. Like you said, 37% to Syracuse's 52%. West Virginia, they're a good rebounding team, and you saw that they had 41 rebounds to Syracuse's 29. So they out rebounded Syracuse by a ton. And the turnovers, you said 14, like they said, Syracuse turned it over 15. So at the end of the day, I don't think the turnovers were necessarily a huge issue. I just think Syracuse's shooting was the problem, and led by obviously Buddy Boeheim, son of the amazing Jim Boeheim, the head coach there. It's a great story to watch, and this team, doubt, they were an 11 seed coming in the tournament. There was, who knew it was going to happen? Were they guaranteed a spot? Not necessarily, but they did get in, obviously, as the 11 seed, and they played well. Good shooting. This team all around has guys who can do it all. Joe Garrard, like you said, 12 points. He had them all in the first half, but still 7 assists, 6 rebounds. He's doing these all around things. We've seen these from guys like Justin Patton as well in this tournament. Guys who have good guard play tend to win these tournaments. And from West Virginia, strong guard play, but at the end of the day, the shooting is just going to cost you. When you're not shooting the ball well to a team who's shooting better than 50% from the field, you're in really deep trouble. And at the end of the day, the shooting was the story for Syracuse. Buddy Boeheim, like you said, caught fire in that second half, and there's no stopping that kid. He's proved that in the past 2 games. So Syracuse, with Buddy Boeheim, he's been one of the best players in the tournament so far. They can go far, let me tell you. I mean, West Virginia, no joke at all. They're going to play a Houston team that we'll get into. They barely squeaked out a win against Rutgers today. So I guess that's what we can jump to next. Yep. Houston beats Rutgers 63-60. Let me just refresh the page. I want to see the Oral Roberts score. Oral Roberts is winning. Oh my goodness.
Another upset.
The 15 seed Oral Roberts is winning by a point. That is, crazy game. Houston, though, 63-60. This was a rough game for Houston, to say the least. Rutgers was up, I believe, 10, going into the final few minutes or so. Houston did fight back. They played strong defense in the end of this game. For me, the guy that did it for Houston was DeJon Jarreau. This guy's dealing with an injury. He's dealing with some back or hip things. And, he went out there, he fought, he knew he had to be on the floor for this team to have a chance. And he really made some big plays with him, 17 points. Quentin Grimes had a good day, 22 points, 9 rebounds. He had some trouble shooting from the line. But this was just a back and forth, not back and forth. Rutgers was kind of the better team. And we just saw them, overall have a strong game. Guards like Geo Baker played pretty well. The center Miles Johnson looked good. But, Rutgers, they weren't anything special per se. I mean, this team, it was just Houston just looked like a mess out there. They shot 37% from the field. Houston offensive rebounds is one thing that I learned about this team today, is that they are very efficient in terms of offensive rebounding. This team had 21 offensive rebounds today to Rutgers 8. So that's what kept them in this game, despite their poor shooting and inability to score at times. Their offensive rebounding and their toughness. They don't turn to the ball too much, which was good. A lot of steals, but the offensive rebounding and aggression on the boards was something to watch out for. And just overall, strong effort from Houston at the end of the day. We'll see what happens. I'm a little not confident in them after this game. They played pretty bad to a Rutgers team that, suffered 12 losses this past season, 11, 12 losses. For the Scarlet Knights, good fight, good way to go out. You get your first win in a long time in the tournament, and you fought strong, and you definitely were right up into it until the end. So Houston was able to squeak out a win today.
Yeah, Houston obviously able to squeak out a win that final minute of the game where Rutgers kind of started playing a little bit sloppy, missing some shots in that final minute, as I just said. But Houston, they didn't shoot too well, as you said, 37.3 from the field, and really what won them this game was the rebounds. They out rebounded Rutgers by a lot, and you spoke on the offensive rebounds, 21 to the Scarlet Knights 8, and that's really what's going to do it for you. If Rutgers cannot get the ball back in their offense's hand, you're not going to be able to make plays and get extra shots. And if the Scarlet Knights were able to get some more of these rebounds, this score would be much different. Rutgers could have been up by a lot, and overall, a poor game from Houston, as you would have expected them to play a little bit better. Rutgers did put up a fight, and as you said, they did have a big lead at one point, but Houston ultimately in the final minutes of this game, they were able to squeak out the win.
Yeah, Houston able to just squeak it out. I've just put on the Oral Roberts game on my computer. They're up 2 with a minute 16 to play. This is chaos, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I could screen share it, but I don't believe I can due to legal reasons. But we can jump to the next game, which for me, we'll just touch on your Baylor Bears. If you want to talk about your Baylor Bears a little bit, this team kind of had control. The first half, they were up 13. They played a little sloppy in the second half. Wisconsin was able to come back, make it a little close at times, but Baylor did withhold. They were able to get the win. Made a lot of free throws, 18 free throws. That was kind of the key for them, and their lack of turnovers, only 4 on the day. Really impressive performance in that regard from Baylor.
Yep, the Baylor Bears, after this game, they really are proving that they could make a far run in March Madness this year. They won 76-63, obviously, but really it was defensively for the Bears that really kind of took control of this game. You have players like Davion Mitchell scoring 16 points, and after a very dominant first half, he made it really hard to pass on Wisconsin. Well, for Wisconsin, and it was hard for Wisconsin to get a lot of open looks. But Wisconsin, as you said, they did put up a little bit of a fight after being back down 18 points and rallied 2 within 7 through midway through the second half with Demetric Trice, who had 12 points, but they really couldn't get close in the end, obviously, as the results show. But aside from defense, Baylor, they shot the ball fairly well. They went 8 of 17 from 3 and had 15 assists on 25 field goals. And what really did the Bears well was they only turned the ball over 4 times. So the Bears obviously had a great win here, and they could be looking to make a far run this year.
You said it well. Baylor, great team, the best in the tournament right now. Second half was a little, shaky, but I think this team right now is definitely going to be in a good position to make it far in this tournament. Oral Roberts right now, 16 seconds to play, 80-78. They're shooting 2 shots from the line right now, I believe. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I'll give a little live play-by-play here. First shot, rattled out, close one.
I got a little bit ahead of you. I got on the TV right now.
You do. You're a little bit ahead. Yeah. Okay, if you want to get a little
play-by-play,
you can as well.
Well, of course, now we got the highlights shown, but Oral Roberts, they are up 81-78 once these highlights stop playing. Hopefully we'll get some better play-by-play, even though I don't know what I'll be talking about, but we'll figure it out. But 16 seconds left. Oral Roberts up 3. It looks like I can't tell if that was Florida who took a timeout, but a little bit of a break here for a moment. So
a little bit of a break. So with that break, until they come back, we can jump into really the only other game we got to discuss, I believe, left on the chart, which is Texas Tech and Arkansas. Good game. Arkansas looked to have this one locked up midway through the second, but Texas Tech fought back, obviously led by star players Mac McClung, Terrence Shannon. Arkansas did a good job of stopping Mac McClung. We saw that on the final play of this game. They really played prevent defense on Mac McClung. They were not going to let him get the ball, and they didn't. They made other players take tough shots. But Terrence Shannon, 20 points for the guard for Texas Tech. He kept them in this game. He played great. So did Kyler Edwards. All-around strong game from him. 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists on the day. On the flip side, Arkansas, their best player is Moses Moody, and he played great. 15 points, 6 rebounds. You expect that from him. But Justin Smith, the forward, 20 points, 6 boards. Jalen Williams, the forward, had 10 boards. I mean, a lot of guys on this team were all around playing good. Their starting lineup was great. JD Note, even off the bench, had a strong performance over Arkansas. I think this was a good performance. Obviously, got a little close for comfort at the end. But at the end of the day, what killed them and kept it close, 4 for 17 from three. They shot 23.5% from three to Texas 10 for 20 from three. So that was really a big difference. And the fact that Arkansas still was able to pull it out, to me, does give me some confidence in this team moving down the line in this tournament. But definitely going to want to improve on that shooting for the rest of this tournament.
Yep, Arkansas was able to pull out the win. And you have players like Justin Smith, who had 20 points, and in the end, he really had a key role in that final defensive stop that helped Arkansas get this win. Of course, he was guarding Kyler Edwards outside the three, who drove to the paint, but ultimately ended up missing the layup that would have tied this game and likely would have sent it to overtime. But on the other hand, star freshman Moses Moody had 11 points after halftime. And for Texas Tech, Terrence Shannon, as you said, a star who scored 20 points for the Red Raiders. And Arkansas, they did struggle shooting from three. They shot 23.5%. With Texas Tech, they shot 50%.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't.
Oral Roberts is victorious. They have advanced.
They have advanced.
Oh, my goodness.
81-78, Oral Roberts over Florida. Oral Roberts with the upset.
It makes the Ohio State loss look a little better.
It does. Now
They're going to get now the number 3 Arkansas team that we're talking about right now will be set for a matchup with the 15-seeded Oral Roberts.
Big game. Oral Roberts, I mean.
I need my Razorbacks, baby. The Razorbacks got to get it going.
I mean, that could be another upset. I mean, would it even be considered an upset at this point? I don't know.
Oral Roberts has beaten now a 2-seed Ohio State team and a 7-seed Florida Gators basketball team. Incredible run they're on right now. And, I guess we can touch on it. I know we haven't watched much of this game. I don't know if you're finished with your Texas Tech Arkansas point. If you want to finish that real quick before we jump on.
We could jump right into it. I was finishing up over there with that.
Okay, sounds good. So Oral Roberts, Florida. At the end of the day, it's these same two guys for Oral Roberts. And without watching the game, I just see this on the stat sheet. Kevin Obenart, Max Amos. Max Amos, one of the best scorers, honestly, in this tournament at this point. 26 points on the day. And Kevin Obenart, 28 points, 11 rebounds. I mean, these guys are superstars. Oral Roberts shot 82% from the line. This team is the best free throw shooting team in this tournament, and that's what's going to keep them winning these games, in my opinion. I think that's why Oral Roberts is actually a dangerous team. They got these 2 star guys that they can play through, and all the players on their team can shoot free throws. Even if they get out-rebounded by 11 like they did today, they force turnovers. They shoot the ball efficiently. I mean, Mac, what do you think? Really good performance once again from Oral Roberts. I know we didn't catch much of this, but goodness gracious, they're doing it again.
I mean, the second upset in a row. What could we say about these guys? You mentioned the 2 big names, Kevin Obenor and Max Amos, or however you pronounce that. I forgot already. But 26 and 28 points. I mean, they're high scoring. This really, in an upcoming game against Arkansas, I wouldn't even be considering it an upset if they pull it off. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people should be considering it as they are the better team right now. They could potentially be the better and could pull out a win next week. But also looking at the stats, the Gators, they had 19 turnovers and they also had 19 fouls. And that's where you're really looking at the Gators and why they struggle to pull out a win here. And then on the other hand, for Oral Roberts, 11 turnovers, 11 fouls. So eight difference in turnovers and 8 difference in fouls. And I think that's really what made the difference here for the Gators and the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, Oral Roberts, they're just on a run right now. And you look at Florida, they played a good game. I think the turnovers probably cost them. Having near 20 turnovers is really not a place you want to be in this tournament. But, you look at a guy like Colin Castleton, this guy balled out in his 2 games in the tournament. He played great again, 14 points, 10 rebounds. This guy was huge for them. Obviously, their star guard, Trey Mann, 19.7 rebounds. That guy's going to be a star. I easily see a future for him in the league. He's been great, and he, continued his success. Oral Roberts is just a pesky team, and they're not going to go away easy. They shoot so well, and I think, like I said, that free throw shooting is just the key in this tournament. When you can get to the line 23 times like they did and almost be guaranteed to shoot, better than 80% there, you're in a really good spot to win these close games. And these guys aren't faced by the pressure, and at this point, there is no pressure on them. They're the underdogs in all these games. That's the good thing that people don't realize sometimes about these teams. There's no pressure on them. If they lose, that's what's expected out of them necessarily. But when they win, I mean, it's just such a thrill. And this team, you can only imagine the kind of momentum they're feeling right now. Obviously, there's going to be a week or so before their next game. So we'll see if that might have an effect on this momentum. But Oral Roberts is a team to look out for. And Kevin Obermeyer, Max Abmas continued their success once again. And you just got to love what you're seeing out of the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles. They'll have a matchup against Arkansas, the Razorbacks, a team that I'm relying on for one of my brackets to do pretty well. So I'm not necessarily upset, but Oral Roberts is not going to be an easy matchup necessarily. But they do play through those two players. So if you're able to stop one of them, I think Oral Roberts will be in trouble.
Yeah, 100%. Going back to the point you made about the free throws, they got up to the line 23 times, and that just goes to show you how much of an impact all of the fouls that the Gators had really pushed this momentum on Oral Roberts and gave them the momentum to win this game. And something we kind of talked about in the previous episodes of all the episodes, or not all the episodes, but all the upsets we've seen. The team who shot better from the field or that was normally the underdog would normally shoot better from the field and get these wins. That wasn't the case today. Oral Roberts, they shot 45.6% from the field, and Florida, the Gators, they shot 55.2%. But obviously, those fouls were a little bit too much for the Gators, and Oral Roberts capitalized on them. Of course, as you said, 19 for 23, 82.6% from the line.
Yeah, I mean, Oral Roberts is just they're hot right now. You gotta love what you're seeing from Oral Roberts, and it's a feel-good story when one of these teams does well. Normally, they don't make it out of that second round. So Oral Roberts is going to the Sweet 16. They're going to be dancing once again. So some of these lower-seeded teams, we've seen, eight seeded Loyola Chicago, 11 seeded Syracuse, 15 seeded Oral Roberts. They're all going to be dancing. 3 8 or below teams in the Sweet 16 is going to be interesting to watch. And by no means are there any more? No more of these teams. Guaranteed another 10 plus seed in the UCLA ACU matchup. Oregon State's still in here. Ohio's still in here. Maryland's in here. 8 seed LSU's in here. I mean, so many lower seeded teams are alive and in good positions to advance. So it's going to be super interesting. This is the year of the upset. I think we can say it potentially officially.
Yep, a lot of stories to be made, especially as we talked about in last night's episode. We love seeing these underdog stories. You love seeing these underdogs going and making a name for themselves, and that's what we are seeing here, especially from Oral Roberts.
Yeah, I mean, great story. And real quick, obviously, Oklahoma State, Oregon State set to tip off in a bit. Still haven't tipped. I guess that I probably due to stadium issues, something like that. So we're not going to be able to cover that one. But Villanova right now up 20 on the North Texas Mean Green at the half. Hate to see this for North Texas, a team that played so well, led by Javion Hamlet. I botched that 17 times there, but probably botched it at the end. He's trying to play his best. But right now, Villanova, a team that, they lost their star player going into the tournament. They're looking pretty good. They're, I'm almost guaranteeing them to be advancing to the Sweet 16. They're going to be in a bit of a tough position. That said, I believe their next game is, it's not going to be necessarily the easiest game. I don't believe. I can't pull up my bracket. I had my bracket up. Here we go. Where? Okay, maybe not. Maybe that's not true. Let me see. All right, Villanova. Oh my God, what is going on? Okay, well, we're not going to be getting the bracket on where Villanova is going to be playing. I tried my best, so couldn't happen. I believe they play Baylor though, so
big game.
They're playing Baylor next, so the Baylor Bears will be winning that game. Don't get me wrong, but Villanova, good Sweet 16 performance. They'll be advancing, and Oklahoma State's Cade Cunningham. We'll see what he can do against the Beavers. But yeah, that's all I got. So if you want to wrap this one up, I think March Madness Day 3 is in the books.
Day 3 is in the books, and I guess it's kind of sad. We thought we were going to be getting our daily episodes, but
I know
we're going to be giving daily March Madness episodes. Of course, there's going to be like a 1 week break after tomorrow or Tuesday, one of those days, I believe. So we'll get right back into it once the games start after that. But as always, we appreciate you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, not only on this channel, but on our main channel, Outside the Arena, and also go subscribe to our Outside the Arena channels and accounts on, I was about to say Twitch.
I mean, if you guys want to see a Twitch, Max brother is one of the best in the world at Fortnite, so we can arrange it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll be some e-sport broadcasters. You never know. No, we gotta expand. We gotta expand the horizon to see what happens. So maybe OTA gaming in the future. We'll have to, we'll,
I'm down. I'm
we'll,
down.
ha-
We'll
we'll
see.
have to see. But also make sure to follow us on our Instagrams. My Instagram is mac.rommel. Griffin's Instagram is,
Griffin Senyek.
and our podcast Instagram is Outside the Arena Podcast. As always, we appreciate you all for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.